Hello everyone, Grandpa Grit here on the Grit and Grunt channel. Welcome back. Today is Saturday, March 30th, 2024, and this is your end of week 52 update. I have bad news to report. I continue to gain weight. I weighed in this morning at 157.6 pounds, and I'm fairly disappointed that I continue to add weight. That's up another pound and a half or so since my last video of 2 weeks ago. And I am taking action on the diet side. I have been working gradually to establish what nutrients I need to have and go through the various foods that I eat on a regular and a sometimes basis. And I have not started my tracking yet. I'm about to start doing that, but I've been having to go through all the foods that I eat and establish the macronutrients for those foods. And also I had to decide on what my dietary requirements would be on a daily basis and my total calories for the day for my dietary requirement and my limits that I want to set for myself. So on this binder right here, on this notebook, I've got my daily requirements that I am going to establish for my diet going forward. And again, it's important to remember I'm not a nutritional expert, not a professional in the medical field at all or nutrition. So this is stuff that I've anecdotally developed for myself from various sources that I have looked at, and I have looked at government sources as well, medical sources. So anybody who looked official in my research on the internet, plus a lot of YouTube videos where I got some, it sounded like good advice from people who have experience in this area and who have some credentials. I'm not going to name any of these sources. Again, I'm not a professional, so please don't take this upon yourself as this is something you should establish for yourself. You'll need to do your own research and talk to any medical or nutritional professionals that might be able to help you in your circumstance. But for me, and if you want something to compare off of, so I consider myself a case study, as I've been doing this for a year now. I have established what I've been doing on the internet for a year, and people can kind of see what I've been doing. I know it's not a great, perfect representation, but I think there's enough information out there that people can see how I have established this program, and I've been doing it regularly now for a year and kind of seeing the anecdotal results. So I know I have been building muscle. There's no doubt in my mind that I've been building muscle. I am over 60 years old, and so it's definitely possible to do that with an exercise program, with a Bowflex. I don't use weights very often. I do have a couple of dumbbells that I use for my triceps, but other than that, my exercise is almost completely on the Bowflex. I do a few other things like body weight squats, some lunges. I do occasional interval training, and I've added that in and out as I could. I've had problems with my feet, though, that have kind of stopped me from running on a regular basis, but I'm trying to add that back into my program right now. If you look back at my prior videos, you can get a real good idea of the kind of exercises I've been doing for the last year. So at any rate, back to the diet. These are the requirements I've established for myself, again, after looking at various sources. The macronutrients are proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and I also include fiber, as I want to make sure I'm getting my proper daily fiber. So for protein, from the various sources I heard, I've established for myself that I'm going to at least start out with 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, and I am using 160 pounds since I'm coming up on 160 pounds, just to make sure that I am getting these macronutrients in the proper amounts. Again, I weighed in this morning at 157.6, so I'm just rounding up to 160 pounds for diet purposes. So protein at 0.8 grams per pound of body weight amounts to 128 grams per day. There are 4 calories per gram of protein, so that amounts to, for me, 512 calories per day of protein. For fats, I've established 0.4 grams per pound of body weight as my requirement, my daily target. So in the case of fat, that will be 64 grams per day. There are 9 calories per gram of fat, so that's 576 total calories I can have per day in the fat category. For fiber, 30 grams per day is where I'm going to be setting my initial target. There are 2 calories per gram of fiber, and so that's 60 calories per day. So far I have 512 calories for protein, 576 calories for fat, 60 calories for fiber. Subtracting from the 2,200 calorie limit that I want to set for myself, that leaves me for carbohydrates the balance of 1,052 calories I can have. There are 4 calories per gram in a carbohydrate. So doing the division, 1,052 divided by 4 means I can have 263 grams of carbohydrate in a day. So basically, it's about half the calories I'm getting, a little over 1,000 calories from carbohydrates, 1,052. And I'm getting a quarter of my calories from both protein and fat because they're both between 500 and 600 calories per day, and a small contribution from fiber of 60 calories. And again, that all adds up to 2,200 calories for the day. So in doing that, I looked and it said most of the research I was looking at, or most of the sources that I was looking at online, said a male my age used between 2,000 and 2,400 calories per day. I have a very active schedule. I do a lot of walking, especially at work, a lot of lifting, moving of heavy objects. So it seemed to me that 2,200 calories per day would be fairly restrictive for me, and I should be losing weight. So hopefully that's what happens, but I need to start somewhere. So I decided 2,200 calories was right in the middle of that range, and I would do that and see how it goes. So that's my target starting out. And I went through and I've established over 40 different foods that I eat on a regular basis. And part of this that makes it difficult is you have to go through each one of those foods and figure out what the macros are for each one, including their own variations and how they differ in portions. So, for example, an egg has a yolk and it has an outer portion that are completely different as far as macros. The outer portion is almost all protein with very little carbs, and the inner portion has a fair amount of protein, but it also has a lot of fat to go with that. So those things have to be accounted for. Just to give you an idea of the things I eat on a daily basis and the meat or the foods I'm having to establish all the macros for, I broke this down into 2 categories. I don't like to categorize things, and I really hate when you have to figure out what's a veggie and what's a fruit. So the way I broke it down is I broke it down into the high protein meats, poultry, dairy, and seafood. That's one category. And then the other category I use is veggies, fruits, and nuts. That makes it easy for me. So like I said, I have 2 basic categories. One is protein heavy. So in the meats, poultry, dairy, and seafood category, I have turkey, chicken, eggs, pork, salmon, shrimp, cod, milk, cheese, butter, beef, and crab. As you can see, I don't have them in any particular order at this point, as I do more of the the macros for each one. I'll get them more sorted out, but for right now, that's the list I have. And I've been working slowly on these. I've only got 3 or 4 done in the category and still working on them. So I'm going to have to get a lot of this done before I can actually begin tracking. It's also tax time, so I'm doing my taxes, and I have kind of complicated taxes this year, so I've been very busy trying to get all this done. Some of this may have to wait till after the taxes are done here. And then in the veggies, fruits, and nuts category, I have green beans, corn, asparagus, carrots, broccoli, potatoes, onions, lettuce, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, tomatoes, bananas, apples, avocados, cucumbers, pickles, peppers, raisins, peanuts, walnuts, cashews, almonds, melon, green or beans, oranges, and pineapple. And then I did make one more category of some grains that I eat. These are more occasional. Oatmeal cookies I do like as a snack with raisins. Bread occasionally. I don't eat that much bread anymore. I don't even have sandwiches. I've mostly been eating straight meat and vegetables. So I used to have sandwiches in my diet, and it's kind of funny because I was eating sandwiches all the way through the beginning of the program, and that's when I was losing the weight. So maybe there's an issue there with the fact that I've cut out bread for the most part. So I'm going to have to look at that as well. And occasionally I have cereal with milk. So um, I wrote down seeds, ? I don't seem to eat any seeds, no sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds or anything like that. I don't know if that would be nutrient positive. So I'll take a look at that over time. And I didn't cover any of the various spices that I add to cooking sometimes. So that's where it stands. Those are all the different foods I'm having to go through. And like I said, it's extremely time consuming. This to me now is the worst part of the program as far as taking up time. The exercise doesn't take up that much time at all. It's much easier than having to deal with a diet and really looking at and tracking what you're doing with that. So with that said, that's where I'm at, and I am going to continue to make videos as things develop. And I'm going to try to get back to doing more videos showing the various exercises that I'm doing and how I'm coming along in that regard as well. But I will also continue to give you diet updates as things manifest over time here, and continue to do the weight updates as well. Again, I know I'm adding muscle to this body. There's no doubt about that. And maybe that's part of the weight gain, but I'm definitely not seeing the six-pack abs. I'm definitely still feeling a little fluffy around the midsection. Not happy with that at all. So Grandpa Grit now is going to get very serious about his diet and see what that might bring forward here in the future as far as getting to the goals I want to set. I would like to see the weight come back down at least somewhat, but I'm more interested. If the weight's going to stay up because of the muscle development, I'm still more interested in seeing the body lean out, and I want to see my muscles in my midsection here. I want to see fat reduced, and I want a lower body fat percentage overall. So thanks for joining me. Look forward to the next time we meet. Until then, this is Grandpa Grit on the Grit and Grunt channel. We'll see you on the next video.